Patricia Goldman-Rakic out of Yale University did this study that showed that when we're stressed, that we shut off the prefrontal cortex. So we fall back into these emotional subcortical areas. So if we have an addiction, if we have something that is really powerfully emotionally negative that we encoded as a child, we will fall back into that because our prefrontal cortex has been paralyzed by the catecholamines, dopamine, norepinephrine. And basically what happens is we fall back into this old state, which I believe is a remnant of our younger self. So to heal that, we have to go back and find that younger self and show them that they're not back there anymore.
So a little while ago, I did something that was like a big job, and it was like, I knew that there was a lot of pressure and everything was going great. And then partway through, I realized that my blood sugar was dropping. So I'm sat down, I'm having this conversation. My blood sugar's falling through the floor. And as I'm doing it, this sort of inner monologue comes up. And I've done a good bit of self-work over the last few years, right? So yep. I had got myself to a stage where my inner voice is significantly better than it was. Still got a lot of work to do, but significantly better than it was. It was pretty toxic. It was pretty nasty.
Sure.
And I'm partway through this thing, and as my mind goes blank because I've run out of blood sugar, this voice comes out of nowhere and it starts saying, "You were never supposed to be here. You know that you fluked this. You're boring. No one cares about what you've got to say. You don't deserve this. Everybody's going to laugh at you. Nobody likes you. You're going to be found out. You've always been a fraud. You are a fraud." And I was like, whoa, where are you coming from? Like, who's this? And as I'm sat there and this sort of voice is going on in the back of my head, thankfully, because I've done like thousands of hours of this stuff, I was able to carry through pretty much on the same way as you can drive and have an argument with your partner at the same time, right? Like the driving doesn't take up that much energy. Sure. My performance probably wouldn't have been so good as if I'd been able to be present. But my point being that I was able to keep going, and it literally no one would have even noticed, right? No one in the room even noticed what was going on. However, in the back of my mind, I had this, and I was like, I reflected on it a lot. It was really sort of profound thing to happen to me. And it's the first time that it's happened in quite a while. And I'd convinced myself that I'd got rid of a lot of whatever that is, the voice of a critical teacher, critical parent, critical friend, like whoever that was. I'd convinced myself that didn't exist anymore. And then what I realized was that maybe under situations of intense pressure, stress, gravity, there is a receding, there is a retreat back into not something that necessarily feels comfortable, but something that feels familiar. And one of the most familiar things that I think I can remember is having this really negative, critical, toxic, awful inner voice. And I thought, oh, it's still there.